Now we are going to talk about the second category of genes that if they malfunction, if the product of genes malfunction can result in cancer or neoplastic transformation. Growth inhibiting genes which cause inhibition of growth, and they're also basically cancer suppressor genes because they inhibit growth, and by default uncontrolled cell division is something that results in cancer. The signals and the signal transduction pathways for growth inhibition are a little well understood than those for growth promotion. Hence, this is going to be a shorter module. The anti-growth signals may cause dividing cells to go into G0, or which is basically dormancy, where they remain signaled not to divide, or they may cause cells to enter post-mitotic differentiation. What are post-mitotic cells? Cells that have become so specialized that they no longer have the ability to divide. I'll give you an example. Neurons, for example, are post-mitotic cells. They are very, very specialized. They have already arranged their microtubule array in such a way that it almost becomes logistically impossible for these cells to divide. So here's an example of terminally post-mitotic cell. One of the very important growth inhibition gene products is RB protein. We have talked about this protein, retinoblastoma protein. It acts as a brake, prevents cells from going from G1 to S phase. RB retinoblastoma was first tumor suppressor gene that was identified. RB gene product is a DNA binding protein and is ubiquitously expressed. Ubiquitously means it is expressed in all cells. It's present everywhere. So it binds DNA at specific location. It is going to prevent other transcription factors and RNA polymerases from binding that gene regulatory element, preventing the expression of the adjacent genes. Hyperphosphorylated active RB serves as a brake from G1 to S phase transition. So if there are fewer molecules of phosphate attached to RB protein, it is active and it will bind DNA. Hyperphosphorylated, if RB protein has a lot more phosphate groups attached to it, it will prevent RB retinoblastoma protein from binding the DNA and allowing the transcription of those genes that result in cell division. Hypophosphorylated RB binds transcription factor E2F. I'll show you a schematic of this too. So when the RB protein has fewer phosphate groups, it can bind a transcription factor called E2F, and it will prevent that transcription factor E2F from working. However, when cells receive a signal to divide, CDK4 and CDK6 become activated by binding cyclin D, and the substrate for these enzymes, these kinases, is RB protein. When it is phosphorylated, it becomes hyperphosphorylated and it becomes inactive, releasing the E2F. Here I would also like to mention RB is target of some oncogenic viruses that when they're intracellular parasites, they enter the cell, and it is in their interest that the more copies the host cell makes, the more copies of virus will be able to make of itself. So these viruses have evolved a strategy to sequester or neutralize RB protein so the cells can divide in an uncontrolled fashion, promoting viral replication. Here is the schematic I promised I'll show you. Growth factors, the factors that activate cell cycle, they result in phosphorylation of cyclin E and D. Growth inhibitors, like we saw TGF-beta, they stimulate CDK inhibitors. We saw a whole bunch of them, for example, P21, P15, P27. These are the ones we have talked about. They stimulate production of CDK inhibitors, which will inactivate basically cyclin D and their effects. However, growth factors, when they activate, they result in production of cyclin D. When cyclin D is produced, it binds its relevant CDK, which CDK means cyclin dependent kinase. Kinase is an enzyme that can add a phosphate group to its substrate. The substrate is the RB protein. So here the retinoblastoma protein, once the CDKs are activated, is phosphorylated, and E2F, a transcription factor, now can bind DNA uninhibited and result in genes whose products basically are the ones that are required for S phase, which would be, for example, DNA polymerase. You need to make copies of DNA in S phase. That's what you do. And when the signal is not there, phosphatases will remove these phosphate groups, and RB will lose, after losing these phosphate groups, will become active, and it will bind E2F, the transcription factor, and it will sequester it at the site, and it will block the transcription of S phase genes. So this is one of the very important genes which prevent cell division. So I would also like to mention about retinoblastoma disease, since we have talked about RB. So there are two forms of this disease, the familial form and the sporadic form. As we know that our chromosomes are in pairs, so one chromosome will have a maternal gene, RB gene, the other chromosome will have the paternal RB gene. So in familial form, for example, an individual has inherited a single copy of mutant gene, and this of course was passed from one generation to next. Here's the zygote. All the somatic cells inherit that mutated version of RB gene, which is shown here in blue color or greenish color. So this individual, it gets hit, its RB gene region gets hit by a mutagen. It will develop into an RB retinoblastoma and will cause the disease. In sporadic form, an individual inherits both the normal copies of the gene, and in this case the individual will have to get its RB gene mutated, both the RB genes, the maternal and paternal version of this gene, in order to develop this retinoblastoma. So there are two different versions of retinoblastoma, familial form and the sporadic form. There's another tumor suppressor gene that we have talked about, APC, adenomatous polyposis coli. It pairs up with the destruction complex, which basically destroys beta-catenin, any extra beta-catenin that is not associated with cell adhesion molecules, for example, EC-adherin. So beta-catenin is destroyed if it is not associated with cell adhesion molecules. Once the cell receives a signal, I hope you remember the Wnt signaling we have talked about when we were talking about signaling. It receives the signal, it causes dissociation of the destruction complex, and beta-catenin survives. It enters the nucleus, and it basically binds, it acts as a transcription factor, and it basically recruits RNA polymerase and production of gene products result in cell proliferation. If there is a problem, there is a mutation in APC gene, it will result in a destruction complex that cannot function, it's non-functional. Beta-catenin will be produced, and it will also result in cell proliferation. Here I would like to mention that 70 to 80% cells, cancer cells in colon for example, have a mutation in APC gene. So we have talked about the next category of genes, the genes that suppress formation of cancer. We'll continue our discussion of neoplastic transformations in the next module.